yet another story time. Today we're going to be talking about things that have happened at my workplace. Well, my past workplace, because I don't work there anymore. I used to work at a fast food place where a lot of shit happens. The thing about working in fast food is that customers do not give a fuck how they treat you. They basically think that you are a robot that is there to serve them and that they are always right. And we have no emotions whatsoever. So, with that being said, here are some of my most entertaining stories from working there. Also, I will be using fake names for everyone in these stories, except for myself, obviously. I don't know why I would talk about myself in the third person. So, I don't know why I would need to say my own name, but whatever. Yeah, to protect people's privacy. Okay, so the first story that I had is, it was from about a little less than a year ago. This was like a few months into working there. I, at the time, was working as a service champion, which basically means that I take orders and, like, call out people, not always, but sometimes call out people's names for when their orders are done, but mostly my main job was just to take orders and then, like, take people's cards or cash or whatever for when they paid for their food. So that was basically my job. But one day, this couple comes in. They're one of the they looked nice, but they looked like one of those like stereotypical like granola, like I don't know, like couples, whatever, like earthy. And I was like, why the hell are you at Taco Bell? I don't know. They seemed chill though. But the wife comes up to me after she orders their food, and she's like, give me the most amount of sauces that you're allowed to give me. And I was like, I thought she was kidding. Like, I thought she just wanted, I'm like, all the Taco Bell sauces, well, I worked at a place where it was like a Taco Bell and a KFC in one, and all the Taco Bell sauces were already out for people to grab. And all the KFC sauces, we just had to give to people individually. I don't know if they're worth more or whatever, but I don't know if we were supposed to even charge people for extra sauces. We never did. But I was like, oh, well, other sauces for the Taco Bell side over there. And she's like, no. Like, I want to see how many you give me. Pardon? I was like, and I thought she was kidding, like, at first, and I also just, like, didn't want to do it, so I was just like, okay. So I come back, and then she's still waiting there, and I'm like, are you waiting for something? Like, your food's already out? And she's like, just a ridiculous amount of sauces. I'm like, okay. So I grab a bag, from wherever we had them, and it wasn't the super wide bag, but it was like the tall one, you know, like about that size. And I grabbed one, and I just filled it to the fucking brim. Like, I just did not give a fuck at this point. Like, I just filled the entire thing. And then she, like, when I gave it to her, she was like, wow, thank you so much. This will keep our, like, fridge stocked for the next few weeks. Like, are you grocery shopping at your Taco? Like, what is, like, are you that, like, cheap that you're not gonna go buy your own sauces? I don't know, maybe they really like the sauces. Who knows? But yeah, that was a bit interesting. And then they came back, actually, I think about a month later, and I don't know if they asked for sauces that time, I don't remember. I don't think they did. I think they mentioned it, actually. I think they were like, yeah, we're still working on our sauces that you gave us. And I was like, okay, that's cool. What an exciting life you must live. Anyways, that is story number 1. Story number 2 comes from, I think, the first, like, week that I worked there. Yeah, so it was like the first week-ish that I was working, something like that. So how our store worked was, if you were the one working the front register, we had a lobby in our store, like most fast food places do. But basically, if you were working the front register, that means if you're working the night shift, that means you also had to clean the lobby before we locked it. We usually locked it at like 9 or 10 p.m. depending. And by cleaning it, that meant you had to wipe down all the tables, take out the trashes, bring it to the back, put the trash bags back in, wipe down all the trays, sweep and mop the floor. And also clean we had like a drink thing on the side that you had to clean for people once you give them cups. You know what I'm talking about. yeah, so that was my job, right? And I remember like one day I think when I first started working there was a lot more people that were working like up front and like on service. So we kind of like split up the jobs that we had to do for whatever reason. Well, obviously, like just to make it easier. But I remember one girl mopped the lobby. She was a terrible worker. We'll call her I don't know, Jada or something. Jada was a terrible worker. She was very lazy. She always would go into the back and talk with her boyfriend, who was usually doing dishes, and would like half-ass her. She was very nice, but she was a terrible worker, and that left me to do most of the work. But anyways, she mopped one day, and when she mopped, she left like too much water on the floor, and I did not realize how slippery the floor was. So I go out to go clean the drink thing, I think, and the floor's already been mopped, and I just eat it. I just fall. And I was almost on the verge of tears. I was like, it hurt so bad. I just fell. I remember I fell on my knee and I had a bruise for like a week. Thankfully no one saw me. I was actually more worried that the cameras, they were gonna like see me falling, like the like bigger like managers, and be like, what the hell is she doing? But thankfully there was no camera in that like area where I fell. So that wasn't something I needed to be worried about. But I was mostly just like really embarrassed. And then I think a few weeks later after that, I think I fell for a second time, but I don't think I fell after that. I was very careful. But yeah, I remember my coworker was like locking the lobby doors once, and there was like some people actually still in the lobby, but there was a separate door where they could go out of in order to get out, to get back to their cars or whatever after they got their food or ate. And the floor was, I don't think it had been mopped, but I think it was like raining, so I think the floor was like wet, and she just completely ate it and like fell on her ass in front of like multiple people. So that was funny. But yeah, that is the end of storytime number 2. I'm gonna pretend that I actually remember to do an outro for that video, so I hope you're all having a good morning, afternoon, or night. And yeah, that's about all. Peace out.